How toxic are you based on your main? Now I've been playing this game since season 0 and every season I've also been grinding competitive. So I know how you guys play. I know how toxic you guys can be. So today I'm gonna be ranking you guys based on how toxic you guys are. But a little disclaimer, I'm gonna say that this is just my opinion because we all have different experiences, of course. Some people are in the low elo, some people are in the higher elo, and some people are also on console. So take this with a grain of salt because it is ultimately very subjective, and as you can see from my list over here, there isn't like a not toxic because at the end of the day we can all be slightly toxic at best. And also, spoiler alert, I will be slightly toxic in this video. I can already guarantee you there's gonna be some ranting in this video. And we're gonna start with Duelists first. So Black Panther is not a very good start, I'll be honest, because Black Panther mains are either very quiet, they're not gonna say a single thing in the chat, or they're just extremely toxic. That's literally it. They either just play really good and not say a single word, or they just keep dying over and over again and they're just toxic. There is literally no in between. It's just always those two. I've never seen a positive Black Panther. I've never seen one that they actually talk to you and say like, wow, support, you're playing really good. Thanks, you're making so much space. That has to be extremely toxic. Black Widow. Now, if we're not talking about the toxic Black Widows where they're just throwing, you know, they pick Black Widow to throw, let's actually talk about the main. Black Widow mains, they don't really talk too much, I'll be honest. They just play. I've never seen a Black Widow who's actually playing garbage and then they never swapped. Now that I think about it, there is actually one who did that, but it's very rare for them to be like doing that. Most of the time, if they're not doing good, they're swapping, and if they're playing well, they're not really toxic that much either. I have seen some toxic Black Widows, but most of the time they're just not talking. Maybe kinda toxic. Blade. Oh dude, the amount of toxic blades out there that I've seen, it's crazy. I think it's just the hero, because the hero is not doing very good this season. Blade players, I'm gonna talk to you one-to-one if you're actually maining this guy. So why do Blade players always complain about healing when I cannot heal you fully when you're on your lifesteal form, bro? The amount of times I've seen Blade complain about heals is crazy. Maybe turn off your lifesteal and I can actually heal you. Just think about that for 1 second. They are extremely, honestly, more toxic than Black Panther. The amount of times, 9 out of 10, I see a toxic Blade player. I just can't. Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye is a very good 50-50 over here. I feel like he's right in the middle because I have seen some toxic Hawkeye and then I've seen non-toxic Hawkeyes. They're pretty chill most of the time though. They're usually just quiet, so I'll put them right in the middle. Hela. I think Hela is also good to be in the middle. It's just highly depending on the player. Sometimes you see them very toxic, sometimes they're just chill, they're just quiet and playing well. So again, same with Hawkeye, kinda just depends on the player. Iron Fist, I feel like any dive heroes are just kinda toxic in my opinion, because you're leaving your team and you do your own thing. I feel like it's just in the nature that they're just gonna be toxic. They're always just gonna be complaining, why is my team not pushing, why is my support not healing me? However, I don't see them as toxic compared to Blade and Black Panther. I'll put them right over here. Like, they can be toxic but not as toxic as these guys. Human Torch. Now, I was gonna say this is a hot take, but it's not even a hot take. I feel like anyone who is flying, they're just toxic in general. Of course, they need to blame their supports because of their garbage positioning. They're just flying in the air, in the middle, with no cover, and they're just dying over and over again. They have the guts to blame the support. Why? Did you ever consider that they can, you know, shoot you in the air? Most of the time, they're very toxic. And it is the same thing with Iron Man. Again, anything that is flying, they're just gonna be toxic in general. They think the support are just not looking up. I mean, of course, I'm not just gonna fully defend the supports. There are some supports out there that are just not looking up for some reason, but most of the time, that is not the case. You cannot always blame the support, bro. Like, you need to take accountability and actually look at your gameplay. Like, if you watch your own gameplay, I can guarantee you, you're gonna be like, what the f am I doing? Why am I standing there? Like, I can guarantee you. Iron Man is the same thing. Like, just because you're flying, it doesn't mean they cannot shoot you, bro. Like, they can still kill you. Magic, maybe because I just don't see her a lot. I don't see them being toxic too much, I'll be honest. And I'm kind of surprised, honestly. Magic mates are actually pretty chill. I don't really see a lot of toxic players. I have seen some, but most of the time they're just chill. This might be a hot take. I might move this later, but honestly, I don't see them being toxic that much. Mr. Fantastic. I have seen some extremely toxic Mr. Fantastics, but most of the time they're pretty chill. Maybe because they're extremely tanky and they're just not dying as much. So I guess they're just not toxic because of that. Honestly, slightly toxic. 80% of the time they're pretty chill in my opinion. Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight is kinda toxic. Not as toxic as the other heroes in here, but I feel like it's more 50-50 in my opinion. Maybe because they're just at the back and they're like safe from all damage, so they literally have nothing to complain about. I'm kind of leaning towards this one here as well, but I think here would be better. Namor is the perfect 50-50. Oh my god, no. There was one time where there was a Namor just complaining that we just do not have a Hulk. Brother, not everybody can play Hulk. Hulk is also one of the hardest tanks to play, and you just want someone to play Hulk just because you can get a team up. Shut the fuck up. You cannot force someone to play Hulk, especially if they do not know how to play Hulk. Your hero is good even without team ups. I was gonna put him here, I'll be honest with you. I'm leaning more towards here. Like, the amount of times I see this guy complain about Hulk is crazy, bro. Shut the fuck up with your team up. Like, I do not care. Phoenix. And maybe just because she's strong in this current season, there's just nothing to complain about too much. She's just extremely good. Like, her ultimate can be good in some situations if they have like a rocket, Loki with the lamps and stuff. I do see some toxic Phoenix out there, but most of the time, I feel like it's definitely 50-50. So I'm gonna put them right here. I feel like this is a good place for them. Psylocke. They can be toxic though. Like, I'd say 50-50. I'm kind of leaning more towards very toxic actually, because whenever they're flanking, they just have a reason to complain supports for some reason, even though they're so far away. I want to put her here, but most of the time they're just not talking though. I'm gonna put her here for now. I might move her here later, but I think here is perfect for now. Scarlet Witch. Oh my dude. Scarlet Witch mains just have the audacity to be toxic when the hero is like one of the easiest to play. I do not get it. Every time they ult, they have the reason to just type in the comments like, why aren't you healing me? Like, brother, you're in the air screaming pure chaos. No shit, they're gonna shoot you. They're not just toxic to their teammates, they're also toxic to the enemy team. Like, oh, GG easy at the very end of the game. Like, bro, lower your ego. Your hero, I can play your hero while blindfolded. Like, yes, come at me, bro. Come at me in the comments. I don't give a shit. You do not need to be this toxic. Spider-Man, oh, they're toxic. Honestly, extremely toxic. And the amount of ego they have as well. Like, they're just never swapping. You have 2 kills and 9 deaths. Motherfucking swap. It is not working out. They have a Namor, they have the Thing, they have every single possible thing to come to you. Why aren't you swapping? And the thing, oh my god, there's another thing. Just because their hero is 5-star difficulty, they think they're just superior to everybody. You have a Lord Icon with Spider-Man and you're still dogs. How is that possible? Learn how to counterpick, learn how to swap, lower your ego. There was a time where I just banned Spider-Man out of spite, just because I just don't want to see him. That's just how much I hate Spider-Man mains. Star-Lord, because I just don't see them too much in this season. He's pretty chill most of the time. I have seen some toxic starters though, like, why no heals? But most of the time they're pretty chill. I've actually seen some positive starters out there. 50-50. Like, because I've seen some extremely toxic ones and slightly toxic ones. So putting them in the middle is pretty good. Storm. Now, I said this earlier, anyone flying are just mega toxic for some reason, but I feel like Storm, out of all the flyers, Storm is like the least toxic one in my opinion. Probably because they're just most of the time staying with their team. They're just above the team, you know, so it's very easy to heal them. Honestly, might be a hot take. I'm gonna put them here. Squirgle. Oh my god, bro. Why is it always the characters with low skill, like, being extremely toxic? I don't get it. And the thing is with Squirgle mains, they're not toxic to their team. Well, at least not most of the time. They're toxic to the enemy team. You're staying at the back, being a bitch, and you have the guts to say GG easy at the end of the game. Bro, why? They're very toxic, in my opinion. Punisher. I think Punisher are also very toxic in my opinion. I've never seen a positive Punisher, I'll be honest with you. Now that I think about it, I've never seen a Punisher where they go like, my team is so good, you guys are amazing. Most of the time they're in the turret form and then they complain they get bursted down. Like, they're very toxic in my opinion. They're gonna go up there. Winter Soldier, I feel like it's kind of 50-50 because I've seen some nice Winter Soldiers, but I've also seen some extremely toxic Winter Soldiers. So I feel like it's kind of leaning more towards 50-50. Some might argue over here, which I'm not even gonna argue with you if you put them over here, but I'll put them here for now. Wolverine, they're kind of toxic. They're not actually that toxic. Like, they're just being annoying in general, but they're not doing anything. They're just not saying anything. Might be a hot take. I don't see them toxic too much. Adam Warlock. Ooh, Adam is so, bro, they're so chill. Most of the time, they're the one getting bullied to swap. Don't get me wrong, I have seen some like toxic Adam Warlock mains, but most of the time they're being quiet, they're chill, but most of the time they're like the bullied players. Like, they're actually the one getting bullied most of the time. Honestly, slightly toxic. I stand by this. I cannot say the same thing for this character. Cloak and Dagger. Oh my god, bro, I can feel the venom coming out. Ooh, we are venom. Oh, I can feel it. I'm gonna get some hate in the comments. I can already guarantee you because of the amount of Cloak and Dagger mains out there, but I do not give a shit. Bro, lower your ego for the love of God, please. Just because you have the highest healing in the game, just because you have MVP, it doesn't mean you're doing that great. I'll be honest with you. They're just always complaining like, I'm not the problem. I have MVP and 25k healing. Shut the fuck up, bro. Come close. Let me put my microphone very close to him. The only thing that matters in scoreboard are your deaths and the final hits. Okay, what matters in the game are your clutch moments of your bubbles, of your ultimate usage. If you can use your ult properly and your bubbles you're not just spamming your bubbles out of nowhere, I salute you. For those players who are actually really good with this character and they're not toxic, I'm so sorry for you, because the toxicity of your fellow mains are just extremely high. It's crazy. Invisible Woman, 50-50 in my opinion. Maybe even kinda toxic. I don't see them being toxic too much, I'll be honest. The thing I notice about Invisible Woman mains is that they're only toxic when you're toxic to them. It's literally what I see most of the time. So I would say kinda toxic. Jeff. Oh, there's some extremely toxic Jeff out there, but then there's some quiet Jeffs out there. Let me talk about those toxic ones really quick. Brother, oh my god, your character is the easiest to get MVP with besides Ultron. Just because, oh my god, it's the same thing with Cloak and Dagger. Oh my god. Just because you have MVP, just because you have high healing, it doesn't mean you're doing good. I have like maybe 1 hour on Jeff and I can guarantee you I can get a lot of healing and MVP. But again, there's some quiet Jeffs out there. Bro, I've seen a Jeff player who countered like Invisible Woman ults, Cloak and Dagger ults. It's more 50-50. I'm gonna put them in the middle over here. Loki. Again, it's the same thing with Invisible Woman. I feel like they're just toxic when you're toxic to them. Oh yeah, they're absolutely communicating with the team most of the time. They're gonna say like, yo, I'll do support, you go ult first, and then I copy your ult, like, and then they say like, GG team, you guys are playing well. It might just be because in the higher elo they're most of the time communicating, but I cannot speak for the lower elo out there because they might be toxic. But I was gonna put you here, but I've seen some toxic Loki players, so I'll put them in kind of toxic. Luna Snow, yeah, no, I've seen some toxic. Oh yeah, no, the amount of times I've seen a toxic Luna Snow is crazy actually. I don't know why are they toxic. I just realized they're always complaining about, why are you guys pushing over there, you don't need to be there, like, why are you guys dead, like, why are they always complaining? Don't get me wrong, I've seen some nice Luna Snows, but I feel like out of all the supports here, she's just toxic out of nowhere. Is that just my experience? I'm putting them in very toxic. Mantis, oh, they're not toxic. The more I think about it, I've seen like maybe 5 Mantis players who are like toxic. Besides that, they're just not talking whatsoever. Honestly, yeah, slightly toxic. I rarely see these guys being toxic. Rockets are usually chill. If you're toxic to them, then they'll be talking shit to you, but most of the time they're pretty chill. Honestly, kind of toxic. Ultron, oh, I think they're kind of toxic. Honestly, I would definitely say Ultron players are more toxic than Luna Snow in my opinion. I might drop down Luna Snow actually. Yeah, Ultron. Just because you want to play Ultron doesn't mean you need to spam triple support. I'm playing Ultron. Shut the fuck up. I get it, you want to play Ultron, I get it, but you don't need to be angry with your teammates just because they're not going triple support. support. Like, they're not gonna play the comp around you, buddy. I'm gonna put them here. Especially because I have the MVP. I'm doing... bro. Ooh, nah. Yeah, okay. Captain America. Pretty chill. I rarely see toxic Captain America mains out there if I actually think about it now. Most of the time they're pretty chill. Yeah, kind of toxic. Doctor Strange. I feel like they're very toxic, honestly. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some quiet Doctor Strange out there, and they just play well, and they're just extremely good. Bro, they're just amazing. I love you guys. If you're really good with this guy, I love you guys. There's also some very toxic Doctor Strange out there, like, where's my healing? Oh my god, follow me, guys. I feel bad for the really good Doctor Strange out there because you guys are extremely good, but unfortunately your fellow mains are just extremely toxic sometimes. Emma Frost. Oh, I've been waiting for this. In my opinion, Emma Frost is the most toxic tank. Based from my experience, they're the most toxic ones. I do not get it. Maybe because she's just the most played tank, because she's like the best tank. It's never their fault. Why? They over push, they go Neo Pit, like they just die, and then like, support, where are my support? Like, bro, lower your ego, please. You're playing the best tank in the game. Of course you're gonna play well, okay? Wow, you choke someone in the ground, you kick them, they die. You have so much skill. It's correct. No, they're extremely toxic. I feel like good is 50-50. They're either like extremely toxic or extremely nice. There's like no in between, in my opinion. I'll put them in 50-50. I feel like hosts are kind of, they're very toxic. I was gonna put them in the middle, but just because you push in just doesn't mean the support should push in. The entire team is with the payload, okay? And the Hulk is like all the way over there, and they have the guts to say like, where's my heals, where's my... Bro, I'm not gonna sacrifice my life trying to heal you just because of your stupidity. Don't get me wrong, there's some really good Hulk players out there and they're just quiet, but I've seen some toxic ones out as well. Magneto is pretty chill. Bro, Magneto are chill. They're chill. I've seen some toxic ones, but most of the time they're complimenting the team, they're bubbling the team, they're saying GG. I was gonna put him here, but honestly I feel like Magnetos are the nicest tanks in my opinion. Penny Parker. I mean, you're playing Penny Parker. You're toxic to your enemy team most of the time. You're like making traps and stuff. I don't really see them talking a lot, I'll be honest with you. I would say kind of toxic. I think the thing is perfectly in the 50-50. They're either quiet or extremely toxic. I mean, most of the time they're just playing well though. Yeah, they're just playing well most of the time. I'll put them in 50-50. Thor. Oh, it's the same thing with Hulk. Like, brother, you're pushing by yourself. Your entire team is on, like, with the payload, okay? We're pushing the payload. And I know you want to make space, but brother, you are not a one-man army. The amount of Thor players complain about heals when we don't see you. We don't see you in our line of sight. The amount of times I've seen Thor players pushing by themselves and they think that's space. That is not space, motherfucker. That's feeding, okay? Don't get me wrong. I've seen some Thor players where they actually know how to position themselves. Like, they're staying LOS, making sure the supports can see them, and they can actually make space. That is how you make space. Not diving in on their enemy spawn and then thinking you can just 1v6 them. They're very toxic. And of course, Venom. Now I play a lot of Venom in the tank category. My fellow Venom players out there, let me think. They're not that toxic though. They can be a little bit toxic, but because they have so much sustain, they have no reason to complain. They dive in, they have the E to give them a lot of shields, and they're about to die, they grapple away. Bro, if you have a Venom that is extremely toxic complaining about healing, that's kind of just a skill issue most of the time. You have so much sustain and so much mobility, your ult gives you more shield, you have no reason to be toxic. It might just be me. I don't see them being toxic a lot. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do a few changes here really quick. So, do you guys agree with my list or not? Of course, keep in mind though that this is like extremely just my opinion. This is all based on experience. We might not have the same experience. It might be different on console. It might be different in the lower elo and the higher elo. So, this is just completely my opinion, of course. Do not take it personally. Well, that's it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time. See you, everybody.